I wanted to start this off by saying thank you for 300K on TikTok. I'm super excited for that. Now I want to be fully transparent in this video. And honestly, I could give a frick what people come back at me with because y'all are going to judge me no matter what I post on here. Sometimes I gotta remind myself who I started posting for, and it definitely wasn't for none of you haters. You know, looking back, there was a time when we were using this big block of African black soap for literally everything in the house. We used it for laundry, we used it for the shower, we used it for dish soap. Resourceful doesn't even begin to explain how I had to become. I resorted back to like my grandma's methods of keeping every kind of container we got from the store for leftover containers, every grocery bag we kept for a trash bag, and we definitely did hand-me-downs with all the kids' clothing. And at that same time, I was still rocking a lot of Drew's clothing. Each month we tried to make bills a priority, but then necessities kept falling behind. A lot of things that we needed just weren't being met. And y'all fault us as parents for that. How dare you have more kids when the kids that you have don't have their basic needs met? Sometimes God has plans that don't necessarily make sense in the moment, but I wouldn't change God's plans for nothing. And by that, I mean I wouldn't change having the babies I have. Do I want a way better living environment for my children? Of course I do. But also, Drew and I know what's best for our children, and in the moment, we actually need to catch up on necessities more than we need to change up our living environment. Gasp, how could she even say that? That is the last thing me saying that we don't need to switch up our kids' living environment. We know that's a necessity. However, we also know what's best for our kids isn't just to jump into some kind of apartment or some kind of situation that's not ideal for them. We need an indoor-outdoor kind of living environment. Our babies want to be outside 90% of the time, and Drew and I are right there with them. And as much as people want to scream these assumptions that we don't have our kids' best interests at heart, that's not even true. We honestly haven't even begun to share what we have planned, but we want to, so follow along. Bye-bye now. Let's get this heaping pile of laundry done while I continue on with that transparency thing that I was talking about yesterday. The past few months, I feel like I've been really holding back on what makes us relatable. And honestly, it's not even because I'm worried about the opinions of the silver spoon crowd. It's more because I'm worried about the influence of what their stupid-ass opinions have on my life. I mean, it's a definite riddle to me, but for whatever reason, the government agencies like to take these whack jobs opinions and actually take the time to look into it. Like, what does an online troll's opinion really have to do with anyone's life? I get that people post their lives and then people can have whatever opinion they really want, but it's the fact that these opinions have so much say when really all it is an opinion. For instance, why should there be anything but grief and condolences to a family who just recently lost a child? Should anyone's online opinion about any kind of speculations of what went on for that loss have any kind of say in the matter? One and only point that should matter in this case is that somebody lost their baby. Now, like I was saying, it hasn't necessarily been the opinions that have got to me. It's been the fact that these opinions have had some kind of say on my life. People knocking on my door that shouldn't be knocking on my door. Exes popping into my DM that don't belong up in there. Best believe, lady, all I'm gonna do is sit there and delete that. I got no time for your drama. Honestly, what I regret the most about letting any of this get to me is the fact that it hasn't shown any kind of resilience. Because honestly, the whole reason I started this account was to try to give a voice to those people who feel like they can't post because their life is just not aesthetic enough yet. They're scared to post because they feel like people are gonna mention, hey, you have way too many children for how broke you are. Or hey, you like age 10 years older than you definitely should look. The same people that'll make that comment will hop onto an aesthetic account with a mama popping out baby number 6, and she's in her 40s, but hey, because her life's been a little bit more convenient, hasn't been as much struggle, her body doesn't have the same wear and tear. Like, sometimes that's what it is. It's wear and tear. It's not no freaking heavy substance use. It's not like I can judge you completely. I used to be this naive too. I used to look at homeless people or people who were on the street. My instant assumption was to judge them and just assume they were going to be a nasty person, personality and all. And I'll tell you something, I was completely wrong to assume all that about people. When it came down to it, people who have been through the most struggle have been some of the kindest people I've ever met. A young homeless man who's going outside the dumpster and looking in through the food and grabbing the goldfish half eaten out the dumpster. All he wants is a hot meal, and if you give it to him, he's going to be way more grateful than you give credit. I guess the point I'm trying to get at here is when you judge a person off their aesthetic and the way they appear, you're missing out on the chance of really getting to know some kind people, some true down-to-earth people that won't judge you for anything because we've already been through it all ourselves. So going forward, I'm not going to hold back what I'm posting for fear of what the frick your opinions are going to do to my life. Keep on coming at me. I'm going to keep posting and showing up for the people who are supporting and watching our journey for the growth. God, I apologize for losing sight of the vision you gave me. I pray for daily strength and motivation going forward. I thank you for every bit of growth you've given me so far. I really appreciate y'all watching. Thank you. Bye-bye now.